From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Naira Ahmed. As Liberal MPs meet to strategize for the upcoming election year, Mark Carney has been named chair of a Liberal task force on economic growth. Carney is a former Bank of Canada governor and has been long touted as a possible leadership successor to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Meanwhile, the deal the Liberals made with the NDP might be over, but Health Minister Mark Holland says the federal government still cares about the policy priorities it committed to in the pact. That includes dental care, pharmacare, and a yet-to-be-tabled long-term care law.
So the issues and priorities were shared. These are things that we deeply cared about, where we found intersection with what the NDP was caring about.
Holland says the government will approach votes in Parliament on a case-by-case basis. Air Canada says a 72-hour strike or lockout notice could be issued as early as this Sunday as the company prepares for a potential shutdown of most operations. It says wages have been a key sticking point in ongoing talks with the union representing its pilots and that they are nearing a deadlock. The airline says customers with travel scheduled between September 15th and 23rd can make changes right now to their booking at no cost or cancel their flight and receive a credit for future travel instead. Air Canada says it's increasingly likely that there will be a work stoppage. 2 Alberta men have received 6.5-year prison sentences for their role in a border blockade in Coots, Alberta. Anthony Olenek and Chris Carbert both received almost 4 years credit for time spent in custody. They were convicted of mischief and possession of a firearm dangerous to the public peace for their roles in the 2022 Canada-U.S. border blockade in protest of COVID-19 rules and vaccine mandates. A jury found them not guilty of conspiracy to murder police officers at the blockade. In Toronto, former fashion mogul Peter Nygard has been sentenced to 11 years in prison. The 83-year-old was convicted last November on 4 sexual assaults before the sentencing process was delayed a number of times. The former head of a successful women's fashion company was accused of sexually assaulting multiple women at his firm's Toronto headquarters from the 1980s until the mid-2000s. Canada's biggest music awards show is pulling 4 categories from next year's ceremony. The Juno Awards are planning to put the categories of reggae recording, children's album, Christian gospel album, and international album of the year on hiatus. And acclaimed actor and voice of Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, has died at age 93.
I am your father.
His agent confirms he died this morning at home. The pioneering actor, who eventually lent his deep, commanding voice to CNN, The Lion King, and Star Wars, worked deep into his 80s. In his career, he won 2 Emmys, a Golden Globe, and a special Tony for Lifetime Achievement, among other awards. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Toronto Blue Jays open a 3-game series tonight at home against the New York Mets. Meanwhile, the Professional Women's Hockey League has revealed the names and logos for all 6 of its franchises. They include the Ottawa Charge, Toronto Scepters, Montreal Victoire, New York Sirens, Minnesota Frost, and Boston Fleet. And mourners packed a Pennsylvania church for the funeral of NHL star and former Calgary Flames player Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew.
Meredith Gaudreau told the tearful mourners her husband John would not have wanted to live a day without his brother Matthew. The two were killed August 29th while cycling in New Jersey. They were hit by an alleged drunk driver. During her eulogy, Meredith Gaudreau also surprised the mourners.
I'm in my 9th week of pregnancy with our 3rd baby. A total surprise, but again, John was beaming and so excited.
Matthew Gaudreau's widow is also pregnant with the couple's first child. Brian Clark, ABC News.
From the Canadian Press, I'm Naira Ahmed.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.